I want to thank everybody for coming today to our Cuisine of Different Cultures. And today is our chop salad, as you can see over my head here. The Atlantic Institute is a nonprofit organization who is all about promoting positive dialogue, meeting your next door neighbor, just learning about different faiths, cultures, religions, definitely cultures. And by one of the ways that we can do that is by doing Cuisine of Different Cultures. We have several programs we do, and I just went in today and found out that on our Atlantic Institute SC YouTube channel, we have over 160 videos. I counted today 161. I know we had a program earlier for teens that'll go out there, and then this one will go out there this next week. So we're going to have over 160. So there is stuff out there. We have Cuisine of Different Cultures, Cultural Creations. We just started this new one called Life Skills for Teens. We do Tour of Faiths in July, where we visit different faith organizations and different churches. And we usually only do that in the month of July, but we record them as well, and they are out there. We do dialogue events, educational events. There is even where we met a famous Turkish NBA player. The gentleman is from Turkey, but he is an NBA player, and there's some video out there from when we met him. So there is something almost for everybody out there. Please go ahead and check it out. If you are interested in our channel, you should like our channel, whatever it is called on YouTube. And I believe when we put a new video out there, it lets you know, so you don't have to keep going back and checking. All right, so I am going to play our Atlantic Institute 2-minute video. It explains more about the Atlantic Institute. Then we can turn this over to our instructor for the day, Charlotte. She is generous in giving her time to us and showing us how to make this nummy looking salad just in time for the springtime to come, because spring is, I think Monday, somebody told me, is the first day of spring. Yes, although I think Charlotte will show us out her window maybe a little bit, and she can show us what her spring is looking like. But all right, so I'm going to play that video now. Nope. Share screen.
The Atlantic Institute is a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting harmonious coexistence between peoples of various cultures, faiths, and backgrounds. We seek this goal through peaceful dialogue, education initiatives, and community organization. Our dialogue events bring together experts, community and faith leaders, and knowledge seekers to address social issues that affect us all. We feel dialogue is the most important element in peaceful coexistence, so we try and maintain several panel discussions, TED Talk events, and book clubs throughout the year. These events touch on social issues, race relations, and cultural understanding, and are a mainstay of our programming. The Atlantic Institute's education events are extremely important to our mission of understanding. We want to promote socially forward critical thinking to students of all ages. To that end, we have developed programs that seek to grow the creative spirit of students and help them think about their communities and the world around them. Our Future Leaders of Dialogue event brings together nominated elite students to learn from each other as well as political and business leaders. Our art and essay contest gives students a theme about important societal issues and allows them to create wonderful works of art and writing while steering their minds towards improving their world. We are always seeking ways to educate youths and adults in order to make a peaceful world for all of us. Our community events are designed to transform neighbors into friends and groups of people into a community. By associating with other nonprofits or by our own initiative, we are always trying to discover new avenues to improve our neighborhoods, places of worship, and community centers. We host cooking demonstrations of food from other cultures, work with various nonprofits to help elevate the work of others, and try to find a way to make the lives of those who are disenfranchised or marginalized better. Building a more peaceful world starts in our backyards, so we are dedicated to improving our communities and associations. The Atlantic Institute is always seeking like-minded volunteers and collaborators. If you would like to learn more, find volunteer opportunities, or just want to chat with our staff, please visit our website at www.atlanticinstitutesc.org or follow us on Facebook. We will never run out of fun, educational, peaceful events, so come join us to help make this world a better place full of understanding and unity.
Okay, I finally found what boosts my metabolism, and it's not crazy workouts or fad diets. It's the real secret.
Gotta get that video to stop.
So-called healthy foods.
There we go. All right. So, as I said, that our video will be out there on the Atlantic Institute SC YouTube channel. Charlotte has put the link for that in there. Thank you very much, Charlotte. I'm going to share the recipe here in just a couple more minutes again. And for those of you who were coming in late, if you could share where you're from, or if you have just initials in your name, if you want to just send me a private message with your full name, because we do signups, or your name is just one name. You can send me a private message where you're from. City, state, zip. It helps us when we do our event audits and show my bosses and my advisory board that we need to keep doing these virtually so that everybody from all over the world can participate. And I want to thank again Charlotte. This is the second one she's done for us this year, and this looks awesome. I can't wait to see how this is done. Charlotte, it is your turn.
Hello, thank you so much. I want to start by thanking the Atlantic Institute for the invitation and all of you for being here. I'm going to start with a quick intro so you know who I am and why I'm doing this and a little bit about the recipe, and then we'll get started right here. I don't know if it will look like the picture, but that's what we're making today. So a quick intro, like what we just talked about, I live in Quebec, Canada. So right now we have snow, and spring looks like snow melting. So I showed earlier a little bit. Here is what my window looks like. I don't know if you'll see, but over there, that line, that white line, is actually a pile of snow. It's the level of the snow when we pile it away from our walkways and our front yard, and that is the snow. That's how high it is. It's higher than me. So I want to make sure everybody hears me well. If anything is not clear, if I speak too fast, my microphone's not working well enough. I know some people are in closed caption. If it's not working, if I'm not speaking clearly enough for that, please let me know. So I am Charlotte Habiger. I am a connector. I help people connect through a healthy eating and business networking. And I find that eating is a great way to connect. So that's why the whole Atlantic Institute, all the values and everything that they've shared really inspired me. I was invited to Eventbrite as I offer cooking classes every week like this in my own personal group on Facebook. It's a cooking class group. And what I really like is coming together and sharing tips, sharing ideas. So today, it may look like a simple recipe. It's a 12-layer salad. It's not a lot of cooking. We could cook as well to add to it if you want to add, I don't know, a protein source like chicken or whatever. I am doing a vegetarian recipe, so it's a salad. So it's a cooking class, but it's a salad that we're making. And what I like about it is the salad, I'm going to show you how to make a 12-layer salad. It seems simple, but you can add or remove what you want. This means it's adapted to people who are vegetarian or who like all kinds of food, or who have food limitations, preferences, allergies, etc. I'll be watching the chat for questions and comments as well. But what I like about it is you can add food from all different cultures. To me, there's no right or wrong in food. I'm not a like a culinary artist kind of cooking class instructor. It's more like I'm a scientist by background, so it's more of a quick, easy, simple, tasty, and inexpensive healthy food. That's what I do. That's what I help you make. And so what I like is if you can add in the comments, either now or under the YouTube video, maybe what you would add in the salad, how you give it another kind of twist. So I share basic recipes that you can adapt to your own, I don't know, preference. I'm also a world traveler. Don't know if you can guess by my accent, because my accent is Creole. Though I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Yes, my parents are both, from the US. I grew up in the French Caribbean in Martinique, in the island of Martinique, which is a French island. And now I live in Quebec. So I offer cooking classes and recipes and tips for people for free in my group. And I also quickly just want to briefly mention, I also represent a company that sells food products that are meal solutions for meals in under 15 minutes. That's why I have this E here for Epicure. If you want to know more about that, I won't talk about it much today, so you can check it in the document in the link that was shared. That's what I do. I am a cooking class instructor for life and connector. So I'm sure you want to get started. Maybe tired of hearing me talking. That's not the goal of the class today. I'll be checking the comments to make sure that everything's working well, that you can hear me well. That's really important. So my recipe today is a 12-layer salad. I'm going to use a salad dressing that comes from the company that I represent, Epicure, though I want you to know that anything I ever show, you can always do with homemade alternatives, and I always share that. You can also substitute most of the ingredients that I use. I always make vegetarian or even vegan recipes, and you can add the protein source, cheese, the chicken, whatever you want to add to your, I don't know what you would add to your chop salad. So what is a chop salad? It's a trendy thing, although it's something very simple. A chop salad is something where you actually eat a lot of vegetables. So it could be 50% of your plate would be vegetables, which is supposed to be ideal. Do you always have 50% vegetables in a day? That's what we should be having. But this helps you because maybe everybody doesn't like the taste of vegetables, or it's hard to find the time to shop for them, cook, cut them and everything. So a chop salad means that you take different vegetables and ideally different colors, different textures, and the ones that you like. And then you layer them, or in this case, you don't have to layer them. I will be layering them, like a layered dip. For it to be pretty, like in the picture that we have up here, we had earlier, that you could see earlier, that was spotlighted. And you could also just make a bowl of salad, or what's called a nourish bowl, if you know what that is. That's another cooking class I can do. A nourish bowl is also a salad, but it has certain proportions of grains and vegetables. In a chop salad, you want 50% vegetables or more. The one I'm showing is actually, I think, like 100% vegetables plus dressing. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to layer it so that visually you have like the layer of the different colors of vegetables, and the dressing is in between. And then when you eat it, that's when you mix it up. So let me know if you've had chop salads before, if that makes sense to you. If it can be used with foods of all cultures, all origins. And you can make it a Mexican-inspired. You could make it a Mexican-inspired salad, or like I did last time, a Japanese-inspired lettuce wrap. So you could be inspired or use your own favorite foods in a layered salad. I'd love to know also if you've already had a layered dip. I know I love a layered dip with guacamole, salsa, beans, and either cream cheese, or I use the vegan version with chips or vegetables. Isn't that yummy? And you can also have hot layered dips. Today it's a cold layered salad. So when you're making a layered salad, you're going to need the different kinds of vegetables, and you're also going to need a dressing. You're going to want a dressing that's thick, creamy, for example. There are vegan versions of creamy dressings. You can also use your favorite creamy dressing. I would suggest using a dressing that doesn't have any, toxic chemicals and salt and sugar and all that. So the ones that we usually purchase do have quite a bit of that. So it's a good start because we're eating vegetables. But if we can make our own, or have one that's a little bit more homemade, or buy one from someone who makes, maybe local market, a thick, creamy dressing, and you'll need a lot of it. Because you have so many layers, you'll need to have enough dressing to kind of like lasagna, separate the layers. Now I have all my different ingredients prepared. I shared a link. We shared a link that has the ingredients that I'm using, and you can substitute those. Now, what is the quantity to use for each of those? I'll tell you in a little bit. But to make the dressing, I'm going to make it in a bowl so that you can see what I'm doing. So for the dressing, I'm going to follow the recipe that is in the document I sent you. And if you don't have this product, you don't want to have to buy anything, you don't have to. You could just use the same recipe with your favorite herbs and spices. If you want any suggestions, you can message me later. I think that you can make your own. You can purchase the dressing that you would use, or you could purchase the one that I'm recommending, but it's all good. What matters is that because you're making a salad and it's fun and it's tasty and it's colorful, then you're going to eat more vegetables. That's the end goal, and it's going to be yummy, tasty, and inexpensive, ideally. So I'm going to use this mix that's called the chop salad. And I said that you need, for the recipe, it's a different recipe on here. The one I gave you is actually a specific recipe for the dressing for the chop salad. So the one that I shared, I'm just going to check it here on my computer next to me. I have 1 cup mayonnaise, 1/2 cup sour cream, 2 tablespoons honey mustard, and this salad mix, or your own mix. For the mayonnaise, I use vegan mayonnaise. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to buy vegan food. I'm just saying it's a possibility. It's an option. And you can also replace by something else that's, at least creamy. Some people use, if you really can't have anything like mayonnaise, or you can't have dairy products or whatever, anything like yogurt, sour cream, you can also replace it by a white bean puree. I don't know if you've tried that. It might sound weird, but it actually works really well to replace dairy products, to make a dip, to make like this dressing. So I'm going to use a vegan mayonnaise that we have here in Canada. The brand to me doesn't matter really. The best thing is making your own, but I mean, I haven't made mayonnaise in a very long time, so I already have the mustard. I don't have any of our Epicure mustard, so I just use regular yellow mustard. If you have any of your favorite mustard, of course, that might be better, will taste better, will be prettier, not have the any coloring agents in there. And so I just want you to see that it can be simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be, fancy, chic, or whatever. It can be simple. Remember, I'm a scientist by training. So if you are out there and you are more of a, you're more either interested or educated in actual culinary art, like when people that really know what foods go together and all that, then I'd love to have your input as well. If you have suggestions, tips, what I like is collective and collaborative cooking classes. I think we can learn a lot really fast and really well together, like multiply try out things and tell us what doesn't work and tell us what does work, right? So I already have the mustard in here that I just told you about, and that's in the 2 tablespoons of mustard that's in the ingredient list. And I'm going to put the pack of the chop salad mix. And remember, you can substitute this, so it's a suggestion. It's because it's what I use and it's my job to, share recommendations. And then I need 1 cup of mayonnaise. So I'm going to measure 1 cup of mayonnaise from my vegan jar, and do that. And I'll continue checking if you have questions or comments and what you would put in the salad and what kind of dressing you would use. And I would love to know that. So 1 cup of mayonnaise. There we go. I'd also love to know if you love to cook or if you hate to cook. This salad is good for both. You know why? Because if you love to cook, then you could add yummy mushrooms that you sauteed with your favorite garlic and spices, and take your time to add another protein source and fancy cheese. And if you don't like to cook, you can just take whatever vegetables you have in the fridge. You can even use thawed out frozen vegetables, maybe heat them up a bit, and canned vegetables. It's better than not eating enough vegetables, right? Simple is okay. Simple is good. So I have 1 cup of mayonnaise. I already have the mustard. I already have the dressing mix. And remember, the dressing needs to be made first because you need it for the layers for the salad. Yes, love to cook, hate to prep. I know. You know what? I've been doing this for years, and there are times when I prep. There are times when I do a lot of prepping, every week or whatever. I love it when that happens. And there are times when I don't. So when I cook, I tend to just use what I have in the fridge. And honestly, everything I'm showing today, we already had some in my fridge because we do have a lot of vegetables. So we also got new, I just adopted guinea pigs, 2 guinea pigs. Oh my gosh, they're so exciting, so fun. But they eat a lot of vegetables if you give it to them. Oh my gosh. So that kind of gets us buying different kinds of vegetables to share with them as well. Now, one more thing for my salad dressing is the sour cream. And I have yogurt here. It's a vegan type. So mayonnaise, sour cream, mustard, and the salad mix, the dressing, salad dressing mix is to make remember the very creamy, thick dressing, because for the layered salad, it's kind of going to be a layer. So it has to be thick. And you don't have to use yogurt, but if you do, instead of the sour cream, you'll want yogurt that's thick, like not the liquidy kind. It will just run, and then your salad dressing won't be a layer. It will kind of like just drip through, which is okay if you're eating it right away, right? Because it doesn't have to be layered. But if you want something like in the picture that we had earlier and that we shared for the event, then, oh yeah, and for the picky eaters, okay, I'll just continue so that we're not like running behind and people get bored of hearing me. But I have to mix the salad dressing. I'm going to whip it. Whipping it will make it fluffier, right? Like thicker. So while I'm whipping this, isn't this a cute little, like, do you like little, I like cute things when they work well. So you can make your cooking fun too, with things that you enjoy, because you're the one doing them. Picky eaters. Okay, well, you could make this whole thing as a salad bar with different ideas, different toppings and vegetables, and everybody could make their own layered salad. So I actually prepared something to show you how you could do that. If you want to do,
So we have a question.
yes,
and I'm thinking May is not from the Americas. They want to know, they said, I've noticed Americans and Canadians have a lot of dishes that are layered and not mixed from the get-go. Is there a reason? Can I feel it just a minute? I think visually, if you were to take what is in this dish and just mix it up, it wouldn't look as appetizing in the beginning. And since we eat with our eyes first, and then probably our smell, and then our taste, that would be the reason I would think that we would layer stuff. Because I think personally, if we were to mix what's behind me all together, it would not look very appetizing. But Charlotte, I will let you handle that from
well, it's a good question, because I lived in the Caribbean, and we didn't have any, it's true, we didn't have anything. I don't think we had anything layered ever, now that I think about it. And I lived in France for 2 years, and I don't remember. And then when I moved back to the US and then Canada, I discovered those layered dips. Like, you have to try it to understand it. It's because, I don't know if some of you, when you were a child, or maybe you still are that way, you don't like when things are mixed. I don't know if you remember that. I was that way when I was little, and I like when things are mixed now. But there's I think there's a little bit of pleasure or fun from having the different textures. I think that may be what it is. I think you're right about the visual part too. And maybe we just don't have such exciting dishes that they have elsewhere. I don't know. We have a lot of really good dishes too in different places in the States and in Canada. So it's a good question, but try it if you haven't. It's a different kind of fun. And you can keep the kids busy longer too, if that's, the picky eaters and all that. Maybe they're not kids, but if they are. So the idea with the picky eaters is you could have, everybody would make their own bowl and layered. And then it could be a bowl. It could also be a container that you take to school or to work. Or a college job or whatever, and then they make their own salad, they make their own layered. The benefit of the layering too is it doesn't mix right away. So if you want to prepare a salad the day before, it will get soggy if you mix it in with the salad dressing. The lettuce will not be very fun to eat, I think. So if you layer it, you could bring it to school or to work. I just wanted to show something. And in a jar, or a container that's high, even like what I had for the sour cream. You can make the layered dressing, and then you would add the dressing as a layer and only mix it, either shake it or mix it with your fork and knife or fork before eating. So that's one of the benefits perhaps of a layered salad, but I think it may just be the fun of the visual too. So anyway, if you want to, we could make a vote or something in the, what do you think is the reason why we have layered recipes? And we'll get started on the one for today. So I'm going to make it in a bowl like this, which is smaller than the one in the picture. So now the question that you may have, it's so simple, it's going to be really quick, but the question you may have is how much of each one? Like I didn't put a quantity. Most of the layers are the same quantity for each. I have a cup of each. That's what I'm doing, a cup of each layer. Now, if it depends on the quantity you're making. I'm making a small bowl, so I'm not going to put maybe the whole thing. I'm going to check visually that you can see each layer from the very end of the bowl. Now, if you were making it for a potluck, and the picture that I have there is from more of a big meal, you know, for a lot of people, then you would need maybe 3 cups, 4 cups of each ingredient. Except the last couple of ones are toppers, like toppings, like the cheese and the bacon bits and the last couple of ones, the green onions. Now, even those, if you like them a lot, you can put more, but they're mostly toppings. So that's why I didn't put quantities and I didn't put instructions. If you think that it would be helpful to have quantities and an instruction, then I could maybe add that, but I wouldn't know how to exactly, you know, explain that. You kind of have to do it step by step. So there are recipes out there for layered salads if you want to check them. But
it would probably also depend on how much you like of a certain ingredient.
Exactly.
Like if you don't want a lot of lettuce, or if you don't want a lot of green onion, like I like a little green onion, not a lot of green onion, so I would put less. So it just depends on how much you like of that certain ingredient on how much you would put, I think.
That's true. That's true. So someone was saying, I was introduced to a 7-layer salad. Exactly. Yeah. Why do we love it though? Yeah, it's true. When I was introduced to it, I just found, and when I heard about this 12-layer salad, I was like, oh my gosh, so exciting. But it's just a salad, right? If you put it in a bowl all together. When I was a kid, my mom would do it in a layer. So if you didn't like something, you could see what was in it without wasting your food. That's true.
You know, yeah, you could pick it aside kind of thing.
Pick the whole layer aside or eat it up until then. And it's true that the quantities would depend on what you like more. Maybe you would put more lettuce, or maybe right now you put less. I don't know where you are, but lettuce is more expensive than usual now. But you know, it depends on the quality of what you have too. So we're going to start with lettuce. I think I'll start with half a cup just to see. And I have all my little ingredients prepared in little prep bowls, but I mean, you could do them step by step, and you could also have it as a salad bar. So you could have all the different, I don't know if you can see my different bowls. Yeah, you can see them over there. You could have a salad bar, or you can do them ahead of time, but the idea is to make them so you can, you know, show the final result. So I'm going to put about half a cup just to see, and up to a cup. Yeah, I think I'll just do about a little bit more than half a cup in this bowl. This is a 4-cup bowl. So I'm just starting with the lettuce, and everything will kind of flatten down a little bit as I add it. They don't actually like stay in a perfect level. They tend to mix in a little bit, right? Plus, like I said, I'm a scientist. I'm not very, very good with aesthetics. So maybe you can make it even prettier than what I could do. And then the next one is, I'm just gonna make sure I'm following the recipe I sent you. I think it's broccoli. So lettuce and broccoli, and then the dressing. So I'm going to add that on top of the, if you want to make sure you alternate different colors, maybe you would not put broccoli on top of the lettuce. I don't know. You could alternate with something of a different color if you wanted to. But you really want the drier vegetables at the bottom, or the ones you want dry, and you don't want to mix, for example, I don't know, lettuce and tomato. It will also get really moist really fast. So that's why the layers are chosen the way they are. There's an art to this, see, kind of. So I put the broccoli on top of the lettuce. It's not very visible because it's green, but you have the lettuce and then the broccoli. You can make them smaller or bigger pieces, depending on what you like. And then we're going to put a first layer of the dressing. So your dressing can have herbs and spices, garlic, salt. This one has also some like ground up certain seeds and the kinds of things that you like, nuts and seeds if you like them in the dressing. I'm going to just put a little bit of it across the lettuce and broccoli. And if I weren't talking, like I said, this would be like a 15-minute, a 15-minute recipe, right? So it's more of a, because we're explaining it, takes a little bit longer. Okay. So I put that on top. I put the dressing on top of the lettuce and the broccoli. And the next step is tomatoes and peas. So the tomatoes, you could even do cherry tomatoes, maybe cut them in half, because tomatoes will make the salad humid, will make it more humid. And so, well, moist, so if you're leaving it in a jar or container, it may not be your favorite ingredient for this. And then I'm going to spread the tomatoes all around. Again, I have about half. I have a cup in this bowl. I probably will put about half, maybe a little bit more of the tomatoes. I just took a tomato and diced it. You could use canned tomatoes. You could use cherry tomatoes cut up if you have more space in your bowl. You could not use tomatoes if you don't like tomatoes or if you're allergic to them. I like it because they're the color. It's nice to have like a rainbow salad kind of. And so now we have the lettuce, the broccoli. The dressing is kind of on between here and then the tomato. And then we have the peas. So I just use canned peas. You could use beans. You could use chickpeas. You could use, chickpeas or beans if you wanted to add more protein. I just use canned peas because simplicity. You could use corn. It really depends on. Oh, I'm just looking back. Okay, yes, I'll make sure I keep my voice up. Most of the time, everyone just mixes the salad all in a bowl. Exactly. It's just the idea of fancier and more fun, and it looks great. The green color of the dressing looks appetizing. Yeah, the green color of the dressing is really part of its appeal. So I'm going to add the peas here. So I love your suggestions too for the layers. If you would put something else, if you would not put these layers, if you've done something, had something like this before. Now we're going to add a little bit more of peppers. So I didn't want to add peppers, and we do have peppers in our home. Awesome, because regularly, because other people in my home eat them, but I decided to do olives. And I thought you might want to see me cut a little bit. So I did bring out olives, and I'm just going to cut a couple of them and put them around the edge of the bowl. So if you don't have very much of one of the ingredients, that's one thing you can do, is you can, I don't know if it's cheating, but you could put it around the edge of the bowl. The idea is for fun, right? So when you mix it up, like I don't want to put a cup of olives, so I'm just going to put some olives cut up around the edge of the bowl. And I'd love to know your own suggestions, ideas, what you would do. Would you add anything hot to this if you were eating it right away, for example? Like you could do grilled tofu, grilled chicken, shrimp. You could add other items and vegetables. The idea is to eat more vegetables, but you could add others, of course, other ingredients and vegetables. So what would you add to it? I like mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, regular mushrooms, sauteed with a bit of oil and spices, garlic. I think that would be a good addition, and you put it in around here. I think someone said edamame beans, yeah. Those would be good too. I think any bean, if you like beans, would be a good addition to this salad for sure.
They suggested dried cranberries.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Dried fruit for sure. Dried fruit nuts could be a layer in itself. And maybe you put those around the edge too. So there we go. So we have the olives here, the peas, the tomatoes, the lettuce, and the broccoli. And see, it's starting to be flattened down. So you could put more, if you have space at the top, you could put more of, for example, the lettuce, because see how it's going to be flattened down by everything else. I think that's gravity doing something to my salad. I love the cranberries idea. Now I think we only have a few layers left. And the dressing, okay, a little bit more of the dressing. And just be careful because it's a layer, but you don't want to have too much dressing for your salad because it won't be edible in the end, even though it's a yummy, yummy, yummy salad dressing. Okay. So the dressing's there. Now we have just a few left. There's the red onions, cucumber, and then we have toppings on top. The red onions, I didn't put any onions in mine. So I wanted some other different color. I was thinking red onions would have given that color, but I added some of this cabbage that is similar color, and I'll put that on top. I didn't want to have that many onions in my salad, although I like them, but not everybody does. So this is a 4-cup bowl, and it's going to be almost full. It's going to be quite full, actually. Okay. And then after that, we'll be doing the, we have one more layer, I think, and then it's topping or toppers, depending on what you call them. So, the space where you can still looks good. That one is my favorite. Okay, like that, you can see. But like I said, it's not perfect layers, but it has that color and like a rainbow type of salad. Okay, now what is left? Cucumbers. So I was thinking instead of doing cucumbers, because the cucumbers I had weren't very exciting, and I always want to show how you can use different ingredients for my recipes. So I'm going to use
zucchini.
I'm going to use this instead, but you could also use a cucumber. You could use actually any vegetable that you find is good for a salad, and I'm going to dice it. But you could also make like ribbons. What is it called when you can? There's certain, like we have like a pencil sharpener kind of vegetable sharpener kind of thing that makes little squiggly like spaghetti from vegetables. Yeah.
Spirals.
Yeah, those spirals, yeah. Spirals. But I'm not going to do that, but you could do that with you could do that with the different layers, actually, if you wanted to. I'm just going to dice it. And the rest is going to be toppings. So instead of onion, I'm going to show you I have a 3-onion dip mix I'm going to put on top. And then for the cheese and the bacon, I have a mix also of vegan bacon, which is, I guess it's not really bacon, it's vegan bacon bits. Well, cheese, chives, and bacon. I'll show you in a minute. It's one of our top selling products, but you could put bacon or bacon bits on top and actual cheese. I try to make vegan recipes with less cheese, so I just put a little bit. So here we have with everything, if you can see all the layers are there. This one you can see most of the layers still. And on top, I'm going to add 3. So I guess I'll start with the cheese and we have this mix, but like I said, you could actually add the cheddar cheese, for example, or any kind of cheese. You could even put blue cheese, feta cheese, and crumble it into pieces on top. It would be very pretty with blue cheese too, if you like that. And a blue cheese dressing would be a very good choice. But instead of the bacon and the cheese, I'm using this mix that's called cheese, chives, and bacon. Our mixes are gluten-free. There's low to no sodium, low to no salt. And they also don't have any preservatives or any toxic chemicals. We have little vegan bacon pieces in here and just different herbs, and it's so yummy. So I'm going to use that instead of the 2 ingredients that are better than bacon, are like bacon bits that you can buy. We have them, but you can probably find them also near you, or regular bacon bits if you prefer, and the cheese. So these are toppings. Like I said, I'm just going to top it with it, but you could actually add a whole layer of bacon if you want, or cheese, or it's up to you. And then the last one is, instead of the green onions, I'm going to add our top seller, which is 3 onions. There's 3 kinds of onion. There's no salt. It's like an onion mix, but you can make up to 15 cups of dip, for example, and it's not, there's no salt, there's no chemicals, so it's no gluten either.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I see a question. I'm just going to finish here and then answer the question. I think I put everything on top. So if you wanted to add salt and pepper, well, I have suggestions of seasoned unsalt. It's not salt, but it looks and feels and kind of tastes like salt, but it looks like seasoned salt. But you could put salt, pepper, chili flakes if you want something spicy. So the questions, grains and pasta. Yes, this one, the chop salad, is all about eating vegetables. However, you can make it into a nourish bowl. In a nourish bowl, you'd have 1/4 of, it wouldn't be layered, but you would have 1/4 of grains. So that's where you would put either quinoa, rice, pasta. I think you could make it in the layered salad too. That would work. And we have a family member who only likes Italian dressing. I think you could use any dressing. The only thing is you want it to be thick if you're making a layered dressing, a layered salad. You want it to be thick, because even the one I just showed you, it's a thick dressing and it's still dripping between the layers. If you wait till the end and you try to mix up the salad without the dressing, it may be, in the end, it might be, you're not going to be able to mix in with the dressing because the layers are already made and they're kind of tight. So if you don't add dressing in the layers, you're going to have to mix up the whole thing to eat it. But I think that any dressing, if you add maybe some mayonnaise or sour cream or yogurt to it, even Italian would be good. Sunflower seeds or peppers. Yeah, I think anything crunchy too. I didn't add anything really crunchy, but I think I love crunchy stuff on top of salad, so that would be good as well. I think we're actually done. So this is what it looks like on top. It has all the toppings, and like I said, it doesn't look like the picture, but I mean, I can find the best part. Maybe that looks a little bit more like it. The small bowl too, so like you can see the different layers from the lettuce, the broccoli, the tomato, the peas, the dressing is twice too, the olives, and the cabbage, and then the top, and then everything on the top here. So this I would eat, either we'd scoop it out, or I would eat it, or I'm not really quite sure how the potluck one works. I mean, it would come apart, but it's still very pretty, right? I think that's about it. Yeah, if they don't like any of the creamy dressings, I was just thinking what I would have done if I don't like creamy dressing. I wouldn't be able to do the layers, but you can just add dressing as you eat it. Honestly, you can make a dressing. The other way I wanted to suggest for you to make your dressing is to make your dressing in if you make it or buy it, have a jar, a bottle of it. And then honestly, you could just pour a little bit on it as you're eating it, and then pour more on it as you eat the rest. So I think that would be possible. It just wouldn't have the visual, and you wouldn't serve that maybe in a potluck. But for your family, if you have people who don't like creamy dressing, then yeah, there's other ways of doing it too. The recipe is in a document that we share. It's not really a recipe, as in it's more of the different layers. So I didn't really put I didn't put many instructions, except the fact that the layers and how to do it, and you'll have this video and the picture that goes with the cooking class as well. And I think that will all be sent, people can access it on YouTube and on the email, and different places. I also shared my own information. So if you want to, I think I put my email address. You can join my Facebook group where I do cooking classes every week like this for free, but I only do them in the group. I don't do them on a public page. And you can also check out my website, but that's not necessarily, you can also make the recipe without it. But I put some information in the document, the Google Doc for everyone for this specific cooking class. So I think I'm done.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. This looks absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait to make it. I have 6 people in my household, and so I think we would make our own, and maybe like we have a bunch of glass or plastic bowls, and we can make it and then hold it up and take a fun picture or something, because they would
Yeah,
make fun looking things. So yes, thank you. Any more questions, anyone? I will, if you send me your email address, I will send you the recipe. But like she said, it's not really a recipe, just a suggestion of things you can layer it with. And as you saw, she changed it up for what she had or liked better. So it's just a suggestion of things you would like. So, and I think your peas, was that your protein for the dish?
Yes, so well, if you're adding yogurt, that would be protein as well, because you're adding a half a cup of it and you're adding the peas. And the way I see it is I really look at my protein intake over the whole day too. So I don't think, to me, every meal doesn't have to have all the protein, though we want the most protein in it. I think eggs would also be a way. Eggs, people could add chicken, or if they want to add extra protein into the dish, but the yogurt would be Greek yogurt, for example, would be a good source of protein. The cheese too, anything that you put on the top, and you could put nutritional yeast, or there's different things that would be you could make it even more nourishing by what you add to it.
Oh, yes. All right.
Beans and peas too. So yeah, simple and pretty. Exactly. That's what it is.
It is. Thank you. All right, everyone, I'm going to end it now. I want to thank everybody for coming and have a wonderful day. The sun came out at my house, so I'm anxious to see what it's like outside.
Enjoy it, everyone.